Life check yourself with Esteban Lutz, unlocking the K7 method, fitness, nutrition, and energy hacks for high achieving women. Ladies, welcome. This is going to be one of my favorite episodes, I know, because I'm here with Esteban Lutz. He has been doing this for 30 years, maybe a little bit more. He can tell us fitness and nutrition for women in midlife. I know so many of you are like, what is my way back to health? He's the creator of the K7 method, which I did a little research on. Very cool. Designed to help high achieving women. You work with men too, right, Esteban?
Yep. Yeah. So it's business professionals are typically the ones that come knocking on my door saying, hey, I want my energy back. I don't recognize myself in the mirror. My relationships aren't what I know they can be. Help. So I'm here for that.
I love it. So and what I really love about what you do is that you approach this with someone who has a lot of success, right? They're busy, they have achieved a lot in their life, but also having well-being. You've worked with over 5,000 professionals, elite athletes. Ooh, I wish we had time to talk about all the Super Bowl champions you've worked with. But I'm so glad that you are here today. So I want to talk about this because I work with women in midlife, and I would say more than 70% of them struggle in this area. Yeah. They've tried every single diet, restricting, intermittent fasting, keto, protein, Weight Watchers, Noon, da-da-da-da. What is the key to actually changing your lifestyle and having the physical self that you want?
Love, that's an awesome question. And it's not really one key. It's more like a code, or I'm thinking of my safe. It's a combination. Okay. So when we get, and that's the K7 method, when we get these combinations together, and I'll share it that way in the sense of, I've been super blessed to coach and train thousands of fitness professional and nutritional professionals. So it wasn't just me doing repetitions. It was me learning from the repetitions of the professionals that I've coached. So come to find out really quick what works and what doesn't work. You know, to get an ideal formula, you got to make a crap ton of mistakes. So when you ask me that question, here's a bit of the formula. You ready?
Yep, ready.
Those listening, are you ready?
We're writing it down. Let's go.
Number one, you get to be clear on who you choose to be. So going back on that saying that be, do, have. And I'll say that because that's our identity and we live into our identity. So if I wake up in the morning, let's see that cup right there, that's part of your identity, what I just read. I don't know if people are watching this or enjoy your snow day. So something about snow and you loving what you can do in snow tells me that's part of your identity. Somebody that wakes up and says, I am tired, whatever happens after I am, presto, it shall be. I am always late, or I'm awesome. I'm energetic. I'm powerful. I'm strong. So identifying who do we get to be? And like I've got posters on my side that I've written for my identity. Behind this camera, I have another one. I've got I am awesome. So it's the how do I get to be an awesome husband? How do I get to be an awesome father in the moment? And it triggers me. So being uber clear on the identity and repeating it enough, yes, to where it's like, oh, this is who I am.
What's the wellness identity? Like if you were gonna, is it different for every person? Because if someone listening can be like, this is what could help me become a healthy person or a ripped person or whatever it is they are.
Yeah, whatever it is. So with me, it's being adventurous. So it takes a certain physique to be adventurous. For me, it's to be connected. I'm committed to being the best husband possible, to be connected. But if I'm sick, I'm showing up as a little bitch boy.
Right.
So now it's my wife taking care of me, and that really sucks as a connection. So for every person, it's a little bit different, but the common themes are courageous, strong, powerful. Those are common themes that I hear from clients, and and there's seasons. So it doesn't mean that this identity lasts for my entire season. When I was in the 8th grade, I had a different identity than when I was in college, than when I was in my early 20s and what I am now in my 50s. So it's okay to flip the page and change chapters. So identity is key. So I'm going to go into behaviors and then I'm going to go into actions if that's okay.
I love it. Let's go.
Second one is environment. We are a product of our environment. You have a cup that said snow. If you lived around a beach, it's probably going to shift your identity. So you would do whatever it takes to, I get to book trips to be in snow, or I get to live in a place where there is snow, because that's the identity that you're committed to being. So if I have clutter in my living space, my survival instincts kick in. Is it safe? It's all subconscious, safe, 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 safe. So now I'm in a survival state versus a thriving state. Our environment dictates the triggers on who we are. So we are a product of our environment. Here's the cool part though, Marnie. We can actually design our environment. So it's like, ooh, how do I design my environment to be the top 1% of who I choose to be? That strong, powerful, courageous woman. Got it. Let's design it that way. Next one is, and we've all heard this since we were little kids, we are the summation of the people we surround ourselves with.
The tribe. This is your tribe element, right?
Tribe. Always. So the tribe dictates our standards. What they believe, we believe. What they say, we say. And if you're looking to live a different life than those that you're around, spend less time with them. And identify, what table is my tribe at, and how do I get a seat at that table? So powerful. What's cool, in 2025, your tribe can be virtual.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny, when I was reinventing my own life and figuring out my environment and my tribe, that was a huge thing, is that we wanted to be in a community where aging was like invisible. Right.
Yeah.
So where I live, there's like 80-year-olds skinning up the mountain. Do you know what I mean? Like, age has no reflection on your ability or your capacity. So
it completely shifts your belief. On what's possible. Totally. It's yeah. So I grew up in Florida, and I would see the 80, 90, 100-year-olds paddleboarding,
right,
kayaking, and it's like, that's possible. I moved to Ohio, and people in their 50s are having heart attacks and strokes, and they're like they've got one foot in the grave, and I'm like, wow, so interesting.
That's the Midwest. No offense to Midwest listeners, but I grew up in Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, I live here now. I totally get it.
My husband's British. We went back to Iowa for like a reunion, and we were living in LA at the time. But he goes, "Wow, real old people," just because where we lived in LA, we don't, they don't look old, but these were like literally gray-haired, hunched over little, right, people. So environment and tribe are two things that are 100% we can control, even if we think we can't. We can. Okay, 100%. What else you got?
So then it's what is aging me? What's keeping me from being my best? That's what I call a kryptonite. So Superman, the ultimate of superheroes, and a little bit of powder of kryptonite, poof, he's weak. So, and I say that because so many times people, and I was a coach of this, and I no longer do this. It's about the calories, right, Marnie? I got to burn more than what I got to eat. So here I tell you, as a fitness professional that has supported transforming, I'll say, if not hundreds of thousands, more people through my teams, no. And I'll have so many professionals argue against it, because I was that guy that would argue against it. No, it's all about the calories. And I'm like, kryptonite. So here's an example of kryptonite. You've got the crops that get sprayed with poison, herbicide, pesticides, the most popular one called glyphosate. In 2020, the company that owned it, Monsanto, settled in a lawsuit. They settled, so we didn't hear much about it, for $11 billion. And, I don't have $1 billion, so I'm like, man, that would bankrupt a company, not realizing it's a multi-trillion-dollar organization. So what was proven was this causes cancer. Well, if I cut back calories, would I not have the cancer? No, you consume something that causes that. Thyroid issues, leaky guts, fertility issues, behavioral issues, all has been stemmed from this poison. And it was settled out of court. Shh, nobody heard about it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. So kryptonite is something that keeps us from being our best. And this is where I'm like, calories are irrelevant when it's poisons coming into my body. Now, sometimes those poisons are attached to something that's high temptation. You give me pizza, any kind of pizza, I will bite your hand off to have that pizza. So there's a high level of temptation, not only in the hyperpalatability, it's chemically designed for it to activate the part of my brain that's addictive. Totally got that. But there's also an emotional attachment.
Yes.
So I grew up, I have zero memories of my mom and dad hugging or kissing. Zero memories. I can remember, I think maybe twice that we had family dinner. Um, However, when I moved from Colombia, South America, to the United States, I remember in elementary school, there was this reading thing. If you read so many books, Pizza Hut would give you a free pan pizza.
The personal?
Yeah.
The personal.
So for me, that's my family would get together. That represented celebration,
Yes.
joy, love, connection. So whenever I would have new, and I didn't realize this till I was older and actually studied about behavior. Whenever I would be having that or craving that, there was a link to pizza. And I'm like, holy cow. So the kryptonite isn't part of the temptation. And if anybody's ever been to church, Jesus taught his disciples the Father's prayer, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Lead me not into temptation. Oh, but Esteban, your willpower's got to be bigger than that. You can say no to pizza. You can say no to ice cream. No, my willpower's never stronger than temptation. At 9 a.m. it is, but willpower is a resource that gets exhausted over time. Get me at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12, or 1 a.m. Oh, you got me, temptation, every single time. That's when I eat the whole bag of chips, not just one or two chips, the whole thing. So we talked about identity. You get to be clear on who you be. We talked about how to design it to where the habits happen. Environment and tribe create subconscious habits. And then identifying, well, what's keeping me from being my best? That's the kryptonite. You know, and like here, I'll mention another quick one with kryptonite. Like we've recently said, fluoride is bad for you and red dye, number 3, is bad for you. There's thousands more. So those of us that have been in the wellness industry, we've said this for years. Right. There's a bacteria in the mouth that creates nitric oxide. Whenever I do Listerine or fluoride and kill the bacteria, it actually increases my risk for heart disease. Holy shit, wow. Are you telling me that fluoride could increase heart disease? Yes, I'm not saying that. Literature says that.
Right.
And it's been around for decades. Red dye, cancer, ADD, ADHD, shifting and changing my emotions and my behavior. That impacts how I am with my spouse. That impacts how I am with my kids. I'm in the survival, fight, flight. I'm arguing and I'm yelling with my wife and I know I don't want to. What the freak is going on? Internally, my body's being attacked. So cortisol levels are up, right. And I'm having that survival response, fight, flight, freeze. Sometimes the husbands, they just stare and they're like, say something. They're in survival state. I know no wife has ever experienced that before. So that's the foundation.
Is this the red dye from the M&Ms from like a million years ago when they were talking about the red dye in M&Ms?
So 35 years ago,
making red M&Ms, but they didn't get rid of the red dye.
And then they brought them back. They removed them from makeup 35, 40 years ago. We've known for decades what it causes. Yet, shockingly, it was approved for foods. But again, there's thousands that are approved into our food system now. So we're counting calories when it's not about the calories because we're openly consuming poison. It's like if you and I have a salad and there's poison ivy in it, you'd be like, that's moronic. Why am I eating poison ivy? My whole face is going to swell up. Yeah, but it's only 5 calories. It's okay. It's really low in calories. You're fine. You're like, no, it's poison. I'm not going to eat it.
So let me ask you this question. So I remember my mom being on Weight Watchers when I was a kid, right?
Yep.
And it was all about calories. And
it's all about the points.
All these companies morph and change. But anyway, I remember then when fat free, right, was like a thing, the first.
Yeah,
right. And so what I hear you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that if we are doing all of these things and we're putting chemicals in our body in an effort to eat low calorie versus finding whole grain, healthy, fresh, foods that are, who cares about the calories? We want whole, healthy foods outside of the aisles and all that stuff at the grocery store.
100% accurate.
Okay.
100%. Okay. So here's part of my storytelling. Again, I don't know if this is only going to be audio or visual.
We're doing video because, if you're watching this, listening to audio, you should watch it because this is a very attractive, muscular 50-plus-year-old man. So just for fun.
Please feed me more. I love this. I'm coming back. Thank you.
Exactly. So just watch Esteban. Forget the audio. Okay, go ahead.
So I went from being one of the top calorie counting professionals in the nation to where I woke up one day And, ideally in the 7th grade, you're smarter than you were in the 3rd grade.
Right.
And I'm like, we're focusing on the wrong thing. I count 0 calories. I'm in my 50s. I coach my clients how to build their ideal high performance self without counting calories. Hold on, take a look at the camera.
Look
In
at
my
that.
50s,
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
0 calories counted. So for those of you doing the audio, I may have or may not have lifted up my shirt.
Yeah,
You'll
exactly.
have to watch.
He's ripped. And I've followed you online, and so you're your own success story, right? Like,
So I've been in fitness for over 30 years. I was a cheerleader. I was a gymnast. I was a martial artist. I was a cage fighter. So I've been from very fit to very fat multiple times.
Interesting.
And part of this being my
human.
uniform.
He's human, people, just so you
Yeah.
know. Because there's nothing more annoying, like as a woman, you're watching all these people and they're talking about, what they do, and you're like, yeah, but you don't know what it's like to have temptation or to be stressed eating. So
Yeah.
Esteban's the real. Okay, so we talked about kryptonite. Anything else that you want to really highlight from the K7 method that is like your superpower secret sauce? Because I want everyone to do your thing.
How old is this audience?
You all could be at 40s to 60s.
Okay. So we know we're mortal.
Yes.
And then we're looking to boost our energy. We're looking to create great memories. The organ of longevity is muscle. As we increase muscle tissue, we have a higher quality of life, and we actually have a longer level of life. So we were taught over the decades, burn more calories, eat less calories. Biggest lie.
Cardio.
So
hours
cardiovascular training is good for the cardiovascular system. However, we're not designed to do it for long term because we dip into the muscle for energy reserve. So short bursts of it, amazing, fantastic. I would say the primary focus is, how do I grow muscle? How do I grow muscle? How do I grow muscle? And then also you need the raw material. So I'll see a lot of people, they get the personal trainer. They're doing the exercise. It's, I want to build a great mansion. Got it. I got the blueprint. I got the frame. The house isn't built though. I don't have the raw material for it. That's protein. We need the raw material to build an optimal body. So when we're in thinking of deprivation, starvation, cutting back, we neglect what's the raw material I need to build an optimal body. And that's where my invitation is. Think, how do I build that badass home? How do I build my dream home? You get the raw material, and that's your body. That's going to be, what studies today are showing 1 gram of dietary protein per pound of ideal body weight. So let's say my ideal body weight's 150 pounds. That's my goal, 150 grams. You may not get there at first. The average woman right now, correct, is consuming 60 grams of protein a day. The average man, 90 grams of protein. They're not even meeting the basement floor, the recommended daily allowance. Recommended daily allowance means if you hit this minimum, you're less likely to go into diseases and your body breaking down. So many of us are shooting to be at the basement floor and we're not even achieving it. And then it's okay, so that's a basement floor. What's my optimal range? We're not even talking about optimal range. That's why I love coming on the podcast and be like, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a badass. You're not average. You're not normal. You're not settling. You're seeking for what's the best version of me. 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. I
need to up my protein, Esteban. Last night, my husband went to work and I, like, every bone in my body just wanted popcorn for dinner. I'm not going to lie. And I was like, Marnie, I made this chili and I put all these beans in it and some ground beef and some veggies. And I was like, because that Weight Watchers girl who grew up is like, oh, just eat popcorn for dinner. That's only like 250 calories. And I'm like, no, enjoy this delicious chili that you made. And I think I need to like double my protein because of my default to just grab whatever's in the fridge.
So I'm gonna do a little twist in the brain. Okay. So when I eat the little snack that's 200 calories or less, when it's a carbohydrate, it increases my hunger hormone, number one. It increases a hormone called insulin also, which is a fat storing hormone. So I could eat triple the protein, which activates glucagon, which is a fat burning hormone, or I could eat very, very low calories. It's a carbohydrate, and I could increase inflammation and fat. But my calories were low. You screwed up your hormones. You told your body you're in survival state. Let's cause inflammation and increase fat.
This makes so much sense.
Not about the calories.
Let me ask you another question for this group, for this tribe. Because I'm also part of this. My kids joke that like I eat a half a banana and I'm full. I think like it's hard for men and women. And I know my daughters have these boyfriends in their late 20s and they're like, I got to keep eating protein, right? What about being full and getting all that protein in? Like, is there like in your
That's a great problem to have. That is a great problem. So our body doesn't crave calories.
Okay.
There's 9 essential amino acids. So amino acids are part of a protein, and there's 20 of them that we consume. There's not one essential carbohydrate. We can eat 0 carbohydrates and we're fine. So it's like, yeah, I thought we needed carbs for energy. Our body converts protein into carbohydrates. We don't need to consume it. Our body can create it. So, and I'm going to get to your question.
Okay, great.
When we consume the essential amino acids, our body's reading those signals saying, oh, I have what it takes to be alive and to thrive. When I'm consuming the popcorn or the chips, I don't have those essential minerals, vitamins, amino acids. So the hormone signal is still high. So when we consume protein first, you can have the popcorn, you can have the salad, you can have the whatever, but if you eat protein first, it's regulating the hormones, sending those signals. And it's like ghrelin, my hunger hormone, it's like growls in the stomach, is shutting down. It's like, but I'm not hungry anymore. And I know I need to get more protein. That's a real thing, 100%. I'm glad I have this visual here.
Yeah, I love it.
Whey protein. So I actually have a salad in here, a bunch of protein, blueberries. Whey protein is super easy to drink.
Yep.
And you will not hit the satiety as if you're eating a steak or chicken or fish.
Okay.
So if you're low on hitting your protein target, supplementing with whey protein, super easy.
Can I do, so the whey, I'm like, this is all about me now, y'all.
Let's
the
do
whey
it.
protein like upsets my stomach. So I've been doing plant protein, like pea protein. Is that
Okay.
just, you have to have more of it because it's
you need more. It's an inferior product. It just is.
So what if
so
you're
I
like
would,
allergic to whey? Are you have
I would, there's different types of whey. There's an isolate, there's concentrate, there's isolate, there's hydrolyzed. So the isolate and hydrolyzed cost more because it's a higher expense to take away the lactose side of things.
Yep.
So identify if your body's okay with that.
Yep.
And then there's egg options and there's beef options as well that they just powder up. It's superior to plant, superior. I'm not saying no to plants. But we could go in completely other podcast on how challenging it is for us to absorb nutrients from plants. And there's a lot of carbohydrates blended in with it. They have a purpose. They really do. And for what we're looking for, what our body needs, dietary animal protein is superior.
Okay.
And sometimes people are sensitive. So, okay, go to like a pea-based protein. Totally get that. Totally get it.
I'm doing it.
It's just inferior. Yeah. So, I mean, I would be holding back or attempting to be political if I didn't say that. And that's not me. I shoot straight forward.
No. And I love that. And I watched this documentary, which was the shittiest documentary ever because it was basically produced by the, like some vegan, I'm all about vegan, but they had these twins. Did you see this? The twins?
I did.
Yeah, right. And
you lose more weight being vegan. Yeah, no crap, because you lose muscle tissue.
The guys that wanted to build more muscle, it was really hard for them, and they had to eat like a lot and all of that. So I think I'm all for it.
Yeah, and like I've gone through all of that, from vegan to carnivore to pescatarian, and professionally in an executive for 2 large national fitness chains. It's like, Esteban, you got to come up with a solution. So one company I had 220,000 members, another one 4 million members, and it didn't matter what my personal belief was. It's what's going to get people results. Because if they don't get results, let's say Weight Watchers, if they don't get results, they go elsewhere. So there was a business aspect of it, and I had to identify what's real, what impacts a human body, and what are we able to legit execute in real life? I got kids, I got work, I got spouse. So that's where I just shoot straight forward with people.
I love this. I'm going to have you back on so we could talk more about everything, because I know you have to go
Let's
do your
do it.
thing. Ladies and gents, if you're listening, are you giving away your 21-day? Is that what we have to give away?
Let's do, since we're talking about like the weight loss or whatever, I've got the 7-day challenge. I've got the tight tummy challenge.
Oh, let's
So
do that.
I'm going to put it this way. I've done hundreds, thousands of hours of research. That's one of the things I've put together is what's a meal sequence that's going to reduce my inflammation. It's gut centric and muscle centric. Zero guarantees. That's my disclaimer. Zero guarantees. But the average person that responds to me and says, "Hey, I actually did it," this drops 4.5 pounds in 1 week. They drop inches in 4.5 pounds. So I have core based exercises, and I have meal structure. Follow the like I've done all the home. I've done the homework for you. Just do it. Just do it.
I love this. Ladies, make sure you get that. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. Like, I love it. I always want to amplify so I can go out there and ski like a badass and not get injured and have the best time ever. Thank you for being here. Ladies, all the information on Esteban so you can work with him is in the show notes. And I'm super excited to have met you and have you on. And I know that you will be back. Ladies, remember, always and in all ways, it is your responsibility to life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks, Marty.
Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Listen, if you're feeling stuck, I want you to know you're not alone, and you don't have to settle for it. I've created a free quiz to help you pinpoint what's draining your energy and exactly how you can fix it. So head over to decodeyourdestinyquiz.com and take the 60-second quiz right now. That's decodeyourdestinyquiz.com. And if you're ready to dive deeper, you can book a free no-obligation consultation at marniebatista.com/private coaching. That's Marnie, M-A-R-N-I, Batista, B-A-T-T-I-S, as in Sam, T-A.com/private coaching, all one word. Let's take the first step to creating a life you love on your terms. I'm Marnie, and I'll see you next time.